I'm sure Arnie, and most people remember those high school years, getting stalked in shop class by the resident Vinnie Barbarino, and wishing that his bitchy, controlling mother would finally rejoin her demon sisters in the fiery lakes of hell from whence they came. His life was controlled to the letter by bullies, both at school and at home. His only friend, who he both quietly resented for his popularity and wished he was more like, was supportive and understanding of Arnie, and stood up for him against the assholes in shop class, and didn't care if it costed him any of the social currency with the reputation watchdogs that would certainly make note of such an act. He also looked out for Arnie outside the school, and was like a big brother and best friend. One such instance that he felt the need to look out for Arnie was, after a particularly bad day with the king of shop class, who by the looks of him was 30 years old and going through his 13th repeat of the 12th grade. They're driving home and Arnie spots a run-down old 1950s muscle car, rusted out and sitting in the tall weeds on the side of the road with a for sale sign on it. He begs Dennis to stop, and he leaps from the car and bounds towards it like he was a 6-year-old running for the tree on Christmas morning. He's drooling all over it when the owner appears, a freaky-looking grumpy old man who has a real sense of urgency to get rid of the car, which he says is named Christine, which makes Arnie smile. They agree on a price, and against Dennis's great protests, Arnie buys the car and writes a check right then and there. He takes Christine home and shows it to his parents, resulting in his mother promptly bleeding out through her asshole as she expressly forbids him from keeping that car in the driveway, and then turns her venomous spewing on Dennis for not trying hard enough to prevent him from buying the car in the first place. Arnie takes the car to a local fixer-upper garage, and as it turns out, he's got some serious game when it comes to mechanics and bodywork. He fully restores that car, a 1958 Plymouth Fury, to its original glory. As Arnie's relationship with Christine deepens, his obsession with the car grows. He spends more time with it, restoring and personalizing it. This obsession, however, begins to consume him. His priorities shift. He distances himself from his friends and family, leading to a breakdown of his social relationships. In the book version, he lays a beating to be proud of on Buddy Repperton, something I wish was in the movie version. With Arnie's newfound confidence, he convinces the cutest girl in school to go out with him, and they become an item. She seems naive and uncertain in the presence of Christine, who she witnesses Arnie obsessing over time and time again. The car seems to have a life of its own and only plays 1950s songs on its radio, which really unnerves her, and after she almost chokes to death in the car, she tells Arnie that she'll never ride in it again. This seems to only darken Arnie's personality even more, as he sees her now as just another shitter who is trying to come between him and his only true love. We finally see Christine's true abilities when Repperton and his gang break into the garage and trash Christine to a condition worse than she was before Arnie bought her. His parents, as smug as they are about the car, are genuinely sad for him and offer to help him get a new one. And this is where Arnie's transformation and obsession is most evident, as he tells them both to fuck off, and then puts his dad into a terrifying chokehold when he tries to reprimand him for his outburst. Back at the garage, Arnie professes his undying loyalty to his car, and then stands back and watches in amazement as the car fully reanimates itself back to its perfect restored condition. Meanwhile, Dennis, who's been laid up in the hospital from a football injury, sees the dark changes coming over his best friend and vows, along with Arnie's girlfriend, to destroy the car somehow, after he learns from the old man that his brother was the real previous owner, and that he and his wife and daughter all died in the car. Christine's influence becomes increasingly sinister. Arnie's behavior turns aggressive and violent, mirroring the car's dark history. He becomes fixated on the idea of possession, both of the car and of the people around him. This obsession escalates to the point where he is willing to harm others to protect Christine and seek revenge on those who have tried to harm her, showcasing a loss of his moral compass. Ultimately, Arnie's transformation is a tragic arc from a troubled but relatable teenager to a possessed individual whose identity is intertwined with a malevolent force. His journey serves as a cautionary tale about the dangers of obsession and the loss of self in the pursuit of power and acceptance. Christine, while initially a source of empowerment, becomes a destructive entity that obliterates Arnie's former self, and in the devastating conclusion, it's the car and not his best friend or girlfriend that he reaches for with his final strength before dying. He acts like such an asshole for much of the movie after he buys Christine, but at this moment, there is a rush of sympathy for him, and you almost forget the bizarre fixations that led to his destruction. And not that Buddy Repperton didn't deserve to die the way he did. After all, he did take a giant dump on Christine's dashboard when they trashed her. But it still would have been worth the price of admission to watch Arnie sending him to the land of pain with his own fists, and not via a flaming car.